YouTube, it's Richard with Through the Haze Survival. I'm back out here at the lean-to after about 2 weeks. I've got a few things that I want to accomplish. I'm still going to wait on the raised bed. There's a few ideas that I'm mulling around with that are going to take some extra tools. And one of the tools that I'm going to work on today is going to be a wooden mallet. I'm going to source that from all the materials out here, probably using cedar since it's a hardwood. And that's what we're going to accomplish in this video. I've got my dog with me. Just Jet. That's the only thing that's out here with me right now. So let's get started on that wooden mallet. I'll explain some of the processes, what you want to look for, what you want to do, and then a lot of this video is going to be just me doing instead of talking. So stick around. So right now I'm looking for a piece that's decent thickness and decent length. I want it to be about a foot long. That way I can have a good size head and a good size handle. Like I said, it's going to be made out of cedar because that's what I have around me. I'm thinking this piece right here, but I don't know with it being on the ground, it could be rotten underneath. So I'm going to clear it out and then cut off a foot long piece. It looks to be about the right circumference that I need. So I'm going to, like I said, check if it's rotten and then we'll go from there. Feels like it's dry underneath, even though it's been sitting on the ground. And I want about a foot long section, so a little bit longer than my Silky saw. So I think I'm going to do right here to right about here. There you go. Hey, look at that. The shape of a heart. Nice and thick. It's a hardwood. So I'm going to take off all the bark and I'm going to make a handle for it. So right now I want to take off the bark and then I'm going to fashion a handle so that way I have something to hold on to and then a striking surface. I was going to cut a flat surface that I'd have to strike with, but this kind of has that heart shape in it, and it's somewhat flat on this side. I wouldn't really want to strike over here because there's too much of a chance that it would split, so I know that this would be a good striking point. There's a lot of hardwood right here, and then for a flat side I guess the edge. But I want to save a lot of this bark because I have plans on using it for an upcoming project, maybe today, maybe later on. But you can see it comes off in long strips, so it can be useful for lots of different things, and it's good for tinder too, especially if you strip off this inner bark in there. So we're going to strip it down and then start working on the handle. Alright, so this is an issue that I might have. This kind of seam runs the whole length of the log, so I won't be able to have a centered handle. It's going to have to be closer to down here. I'm going to use all of this hardwood right here. There's some cracks, but they're not deep cracks. I'm not too worried about that. The handle's probably going to be probably up to here, past this notch. We'll just see how well I can carve it out and saw everything out and make it work. If not, I've got other logs around that I can start over with. So let's get to work on this one. So essentially what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to saw down just into the white parts, the lighter colored parts. That way I can hopefully baton down to my cut and then just knock off the stuff that I don't need and then fine carve the rest. So now you see I've reached this kind of indentation right here, so it's going to be a little bit tough getting through it, but it's cracked off right here, right where I wanted it, and it should be deep enough. If not, we can fine tune it, but right now it looks pretty good. So as I was carving it down, I ended up having some chunks go flying off because of the nature of the wood. This is where that split was, so it just took off the whole side. It's still very usable. This will be my striking side, just how the handle is shaping out on its own. So I'm just gonna fine carve it, and then we should be done. This in the center, this darker wood, it's almost fat wood. If it was left for maybe a year longer or so after this stuff started breaking down, it might be better, but it's just about fat wood. It doesn't really take a spark, but it'll hold a flame for a little while. But I know it's not going to rot too, and it's pretty hard, so let's carve this down and make it look more like a maul or a mallet, and make it more comfortable so you can use it without gloves, even though anytime you're working with wood, like I've said before in the past, use gloves. So let's get started on that. Comfortable for either hand, but I'm right-handed, so that's what matters. I flattened this out a little bit. I'm going to smooth this out a little bit and take off some of this underbark, and I'm not going to take off too much more material because I want it to have some heft to it for pounding in steaks or whatever I use it for. I may fire harden it too. I don't know, it just depends. It's a little windy out, so I'm always wary about starting fires when it's windy. But we're going to finish it up a little bit, and then we'll have a finished product. So now we're pretty much complete on it. Feels good in the hand. It's got good weight to it. Let's test it out with a metal stake. There's some dents, but I'm not too worried about it because it's pretty close to the hardwood. It might just pack down. but it's not cracking or splitting over here. So I think it'll work. So we've finished our mallet. Let's focus. And you can see I have some dings in there from hitting that metal stake, but really the damage from hitting a metal stake is not bad. That was a good test for it. These splits are already here. It's part of the natural wood, so I'm not too worried about it splitting and breaking, at least for now. Maybe we'll put it through some harder tests, and I'm going to use it quite a bit in future videos. But you can see the handle kind of is already naturally ergonomic, fits to my hand. I've made it somewhat smoother. Made a spot right there for my thumb where it's more comfortable, where you don't get hand fatigue when you're using it. So it'll work. So we completed what we meant to complete today. If you like these videos, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Come join us on Facebook and Instagram. This last week when I was working and I wasn't able to film, I still did a few Instagram posts, so they'll keep you updated up there. I'm going to the Texas Bushcraft kind of get together in April, so that'll be fun. That's coming up here pretty soon. And in the beginning of April there won't be any videos posted because I'm going to be busy with work again. So just stick around the channel and come join me outdoors.